Raven-Symoné is receiving a lot of backlash after she had Collen Ballinger on her podcast, Tea Time with Raven and Miranda, where she was allowing Collen Ballinger to share her side of her cancellation. And we have to talk about it because I listened to this podcast episode and I was disgusted on so many levels. Not only that they gave her a platform to talk about this to begin with, but with the fact that they did such little research into what she actually did before they had her on here. They were saying things like, we really need to hear the whole story before we start coming at people. And it's like, you guys didn't even get the whole story before you sat down with her and let her talk to you. We're going to be talking about it today. I have so much to say. I'm honestly disgusted that they allowed her on here. It's been a while since I did some videos covering Collen Ballinger and what happened. And there was a lot that happened, believe me. I'm going to show you some clips from this podcast in this episode to give you a little bit of context if you did not see it. But when you're listening to this episode, it just gets worse and worse and worse because it kind of reminded me what I haven't thought about in a while, and that's Collen Ballinger and how horrible what she did was. The amount of things that she did that was inappropriate involving children, it's honestly unreal. Most people don't even do one of these things, yet she did several of them. And apparently they wrote in the title originally that this was Collen Ballinger's real apology, but the only time she apologized in it was when she was basically asked to by Raven.
I think people want an apology. I hope that you give that to them.
I agree with you. I think that they do want an apology, and I am sorry. Here's the thing, is when you mess up and when you make a mistake and do something wrong, sometimes you gotta keep apologizing for it. And that's what I should have done. My intention wasn't to hurt or do anything negative ever. Now, that doesn't mean that people weren't hurt.
Right.
And that's the part that I wish I had paid more attention to. But I obviously didn't handle the situation the way that I should have. And it's really embarrassing. I wish that I could handle it a lot differently than I did.
When you say that, are you talking about like the apology
Talking
videos?
about a musical instrument that I should have not picked up. And people keep saying it's an apology song. I didn't apologize in that thing.
You did not.
I did not.
You know what?
There
You are
was
correct.
no
You did not
sorry
apologize.
in
That was some crazy penmanship.
That's why I keep saying I wish that I had just paused for a second and listened to my fans, to my supporters.
And process.
Because while there were things being said about me that weren't true, my people who would support me for so many years that I'm up here saying, like, I just wanted them to be happy. I wanted to make them happy. Well, they wanted an explanation. They wanted to understand what's going on. And they deserved that. And I didn't give it to them. Instead, I was angry and sang a song, and which is crazy.
It blew shit up.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was.
I'm aware.
Okay, I'm just letting you know that was crazy, bro.
Absolutely crazy. Like you were saying, I did want to address it, and I was being told. I got a lot of advice from a lot of people, and the majority of the advice was don't say anything. Don't address it, don't say anything, it will just make it worse. Don't address it, don't say anything, it'll just make it worse. But I'm a different position than a traditional celebrity because people watch me because I was so open and I talked about everything. I mean, I've talked about everything. Like that I've been through, my mental health and my births and my pregnancies and my journey to fame. Like, I mean, everything I've been through, I've talked about online very openly. And so then to suddenly be like, not only am I not going to talk about this, I'm going to sing this song about it. And it was such a
You're a mess.
choice.
It was such a choice.
I very much.
Such a choice, bro.
I just feel like this was so unprofessional because Collen Ballinger was involved in very disturbing situations involving minors. We're going to be talking about it in this video. And the fact that they took such a serious situation and proceeded to put her on their podcast with doing such little research and trying to turn it into some sort of, lesson, like get the whole context before you judge people, when it's like we're talking about actual kids here. And when she's talking about how she did, crass jokes and stuff as Miranda for the adults in the audience that would go right over the kids' heads and they wouldn't even be affected by it. Like, you should never use a child as the butt of a joke, especially when it's something of sexual in nature. Really brush right over the fact that she was pretending to undress in front of this child that she then had dig popcorn out of her pants.
So I've hidden the snack in the perfect place, literally. And so now, watch this. We're on the date, James. It's really romantic. Oh, we're getting close and personal. Oh, but I'm so hungry, James. Hold on, I got a snack.
Was this in your self-help book?
Was this in my self-help book?
Was it? Because I brought self-help with me and I was just wondering.
Well, shouldn't you know if you've read it? I'm just kidding, James. I'm just kidding. I love you. I'm just kidding. Do you want a cheese ball?
I'd love them. I can't believe I'm reaching in there right now.
They really brushed over that, but when you watch this video in the actual context from when it was posted, it's horrible. The whole skit was that Miranda Sings was out on a date with a child. And Colleen's trying to say that the whole point of the joke was that Miranda wasn't aware how bad it was gonna look. Not about what it looks like or how it's gonna be perceived, it's just that it was bad. She's on there trying to claim that Adam McIntyre, who was one of the minors that she engaged in a close friendship with that was highly inappropriate, tried to claim that he was asking her in a live stream for a pair of lingerie that she had ordered from Forever 21.
So you have admitted to sending lingerie to an underage fan. And I know you've talked about this before, but I would like to ask you one more time to address this and kind of what happened and how you're feeling about it now. Yeah, what an idiot. Is how I feel about it now. I think it was like 10 years ago, something like that. I was doing a live stream and I always loved giving away gifts to my fans online, so I would send them like a bobby pin of Miranda's or a lipstick or an old shirt, usually it was to encourage them to donate to a charity event that I would do every year, but I loved giving out stuff. And so I was doing a live stream like I did pretty often, and I was opening up a box of clothes I had bought, and in it was this underwear bra set that I didn't order, and we were laughing about it. So everyone in the chat was laughing about it, me and my friend, and he actually put it on over his clothes. I was like, look at this, and we were laughing about it, and there are people in the comments saying, oh, send that to me, send that one to me, and we were like, we're not gonna do that, that's crazy. But then there's one guy in particular who kept asking us to send it, and I was like, obviously you can tell in the live, like I'm like hesitant about it, because there is a little bit of brains in there somewhere. I was like, maybe not, because I hesitated, but then I was like, and I didn't send it, I didn't, but then it was just became an inside joke with the fandom, and everyone was like telling me to send it, and he kept asking for it. It was like months of this until finally I did, and it was very public and as a joke, and it was like a part of my brain was missing an action of like, hey, this is not a good idea, this looks bad. It wasn't a pair of my something that I sent to a young fan in an inappropriate way, but it was inappropriate. Like, what part of me thought like, everyone will know this is a silly joke in the fandom, like I wish I'd never done that. That was so inappropriate. And if he was made to feel uncomfortable because of that, like, I feel terrible, and I'm so sorry, because that was not my intention with that. I thought it was like a silly inside joke with the whole fandom. It was all very public, and I thought it was a silly thing, and it was so stupid. It's also difficult, I think, in that specific situation when you feel like you're being given permission, if you will, because everyone is saying kind of the same thing. Everyone seems in on the joke. Everyone seems to understand it. Everyone is saying, send it. And then you have this person not dropping it after that, but continuing the conversation weeks after this has happened. I can see where you don't think about potential negative consequence because in that moment it feels pure.
And you're not sending it in a sexual manner.
No. Well, I appreciate that. But at the same time, like, it was my responsibility to know, I shouldn't send this. This could look really bad. This could make people uncomfortable. Yeah. That's where, even though it doesn't matter how many people are egging it on or asking for it, begging for it, and thinking it was so funny, and everyone, it seems like this joke, I should have taken a second and been like, maybe send a bobby pin. Yeah. Like, this is not the thing to send to someone. This is not something
a silver one or a black one?
Well, I think I usually use the black ones.
Then you can actually go back and watch the live stream episode on her page, and you will see that she's on there like giggling like a high schoolgirl, scrolling through this 13-year-old boy's page, giggling at it and saying, I want to give him something. Let's give him the bra and panties. And it is honestly the most cringy and disturbing thing to listen to when you listen to her giggling like, oh, you're so funny. And knowing that this is the moment that she decided to befriend this child.
Adam, Cookie Ballinger said, hi, you are such a fashion icon, and tweeted the ugliest picture of me. I don't even know where you got this picture, but I'm wearing a red dress with jean like flares. Oh my god, that makes me laugh so hard. You have 12,000 followers, Adam.
So she's going through my Twitter.
Oh my god, that made me laugh so hard, Adam. Okay. He's so rude. What made you order these ugly clothes? Adam. Oh my god, he's so sassy.
I fundamentally don't understand how here and here she is like faking what happened.
Your Twitter account is making me laugh so much. Clean boobs are bursting out of every outfit I approve.
Order the right size, girl.
Corey is still chilling with lingerie on. Ew, that's an ugly shirt. No, put that shirt in the bin.
Does this sound like someone who's begging for any of the clothes, by the way? Who you're finding my Twitter so funny because I'm making fun of how ugly all the clothes are, and to throw all the clothes in the bin. Baby, the proof is here.
Oh my god, that makes me laugh. I want to send send him something. Do you want the bra, Adam?
There you go.
Do you want the bra and panties? Tweet right now.
Oh my god. Yeah, Adam, let me know what you want. He's in Ireland. Hi, Adam. I love you. Okay. I'm sending him something. Oh my god, that made me laugh so hard. The shade. You said you shaded me so hard. Okay, maybe he'll want the panties. Although then his parents will be like, "You're not allowed to watch who is sending you panties."
Isn't that so funny that even in that moment she acknowledges that like this is weird, while Corey is like grabbing his crotch, being like, "You want it? There you go. There you go. There you go."
But it's
Hey, big mom, don't worry. I watched the boy wear them online first. Okay. Oh my god. Sorry, I got distracted by that. His Twitter. It was so funny.
And I mean, at this point, like, we need to acknowledge it for what it is. Colleen Ballinger should never be forgiven, even if she comes right out and apologizes, because this is a pattern at this point where she has befriended children on multiple occasions. Adam McIntyre was 13 years old, where she was at his level of humor. A 13-year-old, she was at his level of humor, where she could get along with him on a friend-to-friend basis. That's not a 30-year-old woman. That is someone that is stunted in their brain. Adults should not be making friends with people that are significantly younger than them like this, especially minors. It's disgusting and it's weird. And it's predatory because there is a complete power imbalance. And if you are able to bond and get along with and make friends with someone that is 13 when you're 30, you are mentally ill. And honestly, you shouldn't be out on the streets because kids aren't safe around you. And the situation with Adam is like, he's not the only friend that she made that was a child. She's been best friends with JoJo Siwa since she was also a little girl. I think when they started making videos together, JoJo Siwa was 11 years old. Something that I find so interesting is that she tries to act like these things were mistakes, but these mistakes seem to keep repeating themselves. Like the fact that she is constantly surrounding herself with children.
Let's talk about JoJo for a second. So we know JoJo. You know JoJo. You became friends with her when she was how old? I first met JoJo, I think she was 11 when I met her and her mom for dinner because JoJo was a fan, and so she and another girl from the Dance Mom show wanted to meet me, so I went to dinner with them. Some people will say that that was an inappropriate friendship for you two to develop since she was 11 and you were an adult. Thoughts, feelings? Yeah, I mean, I didn't look at it as a friendship at first. She was 11, and I looked at it as a sweet young girl. I loved the show she was on, and she liked my videos and looked up to me, and she wanted to meet me. And to me, I wasn't looking at it as like becoming best friends with her when I met her. It was just a sweet meeting. And then she's a hustler. You guys know JoJo. She immediately was like, well, I had a video called Colleen's Corner that I answer questions every week. So she did JoJo's Juice to do the same kind of, she kind of looked at me as like a mentor, someone she looked up to. And I don't want to speak for JoJo though. It feels weird talking about this without her here, but she can say this herself if she wants. But so over time we became friends because she was such a hustler. She wanted to collaborate, and so we get together and make videos together. Which is also very common for YouTubers and fellow people in the world to want to collaborate and get to know each other, feed off each other's videos. Right. So yes, we became friends, but it always felt more like a family thing because I'm a big family person. Like I love my family. I'm always with my family. We're always hanging out. We're always in family gatherings, and I think that. Again, I don't speak for her, but she likes to come over to our family gatherings and hang out with my family, where we'd be playing games and eating pizza with my parents, and sometimes her mom or brother would come, or dad. Like it was a very family. The Siwas are and and my brother and all his kids were there, so he's got 6 kids, and they'd all be there, and we'd all be playing. The kids would be playing on performances, and we'd all be laughing and playing. So it always felt very like sisterly friends. And yes, now she's older, and I would definitely consider her one of my close friends. And I love her dearly, and I admire her so much. I think she's incredible. I was very involved with talking to her mother all the time and making sure her mom knew when we were hanging out. And her mom's I'm friends with her mom. I love Jess. Yeah. That's all very shocking to me that people look at us being friends as. I mean, I guess it makes sense considering the allegations that have come up against me, but I think JoJo's amazing. She's like a sister to me, and I'll stand by that forever. There's nothing weird or inappropriate about our friendship or our relationship. She is amazing. She's my sister, and I have a sister, and she's like a sister to her as well. And JoJo doesn't have a sister, and she's excited that now she calls us her sister. So yeah, it's never been a weird or inappropriate thing.
She says that her Miranda Sings character was originally made for adults, not kids, but I don't really believe that, honestly. I think it was meant to bait children because look who she made friends with. She made friends with kids. Those were her friends. When she's in this live stream with her other friend that's wearing the lingerie over his clothes, I can't remember what his name is, but they know kids are watching, and he's sitting there doing stuff like this in the video, and you know that these are kids that are watching you. Like, you can't just say like, oh, it was a mistake and I never should have done that, when you kept doing it repeatedly. She also had one of her fans at the time, who was also underage by the name of Becky, get on stage, and she did this fart joke that was completely inappropriate in the way that she did it, because she would specifically find kids that were wearing clothes that Miranda Sings would then tell them was like pornographic, what they were wearing. When you are continuously making kids the butt of your joke and their dirty jokes, you have something wrong with you, because you have to think about these things before you joke about them. I'm just disturbed for so many reasons. I'm disturbed that they put her on this podcast episode and they didn't actually do their research. They didn't hold her accountable for a lot of things. Like, they didn't hold her accountable for sharing Trisha Paytas's nude photos and mocking her and making fun of her with people, and then proceeding to go on a podcast with her and act like they were friends. They didn't go over a lot of things, and then the things that they did go over, they didn't even have their facts straight to know what actually happened. Like, Colleen got on here and lied. Colleen got up here and she lied and tried to act like she's in therapy and she's a changed person and she's grown so much, in the middle of still lying and being deceitful and not taking real accountability. And also, yes, it's as bad as it sounds like it is. If you are still to this day trying to skirt around what you actually said and what you actually did. Like, if you still are not taking full accountability for what you did, and you are still saying certain situations happened in a way that is not true so that you sound better, then it is as bad as it is. That you still can't even be honest about what you actually have done when you're trying to act like you're a changed person. Absolutely nothing about her is changed. She also brings up her children and how that changed her perspective on things, but she was still doing a lot of this awful behavior when she had children. And if your children truly changed you, then you should stand up for what's right and take real accountability for what you did to these minors as an adult. Because can you imagine if an adult did something like this to her kids, how she'd feel about it? And I was watching Adam McIntyre's video reacting to this, and it's really upsetting because, you know, he's directly involved in this situation. The relationship was inappropriate. Not his fault. It was her fault. She should not have been being friends with somebody that young. It's not normal, and it's predatory, regardless of what Colleen would like to say. And even Raven said on there that it's taking focus away from like real predators by putting focus onto what Colleen did. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but there are real kids that were hurt and affected by Colleen's actions that still to this day are affected by it. That when Colleen did this podcast out of thin air, they're affected by it. They're having their trauma and things that are disturbing to them being brought back up. Like, kids were affected by it. It doesn't always have to be the worst of the worst. It doesn't always have to be that something physical happened to somebody for it to be wrong. Sometimes it's things you say. Sometimes it's just the fact that you're an adult having a friendship with somebody that young. This is not someone who grew up. This is somebody that is stuck in a mode of needing validation from children. And it's honestly disgusting. And I think if she was actually sorry and actually cared about any of the lives of these minors that were affected by her actions, that she would have actually said it for what it was and not tried to sugarcoat it. And anytime that Raven and Miranda were, you know, saying something that wasn't factual, like when they said that she took a 2-year break from the internet when she never took a break, she didn't even correct them. Like, she should have said, no, like it was bad, instead of being like, yeah, like it's just these jokes. And they even try to, you know, poke jokes in the moment. And I'm sorry, like, kids were involved. This is not a joking matter. I don't know, it's with some people thinking that comedy is like a free-for-all and you could just say whatever you want at the expense of people, but you shouldn't be doing that. And if you do, which, you know, say whatever you want, but if you do it, you're going to be judged for it. And now the Raven and Miranda podcast, Tea Time with Raven and Miranda, they did change the title after receiving a lot of backlash from her actually apologizing when she didn't to exclusive Collen Ballinger tells her side. I'm going to read some of these comments. Top one says, F no, you two did not just spend an hour joking around about grooming. Let's be clear here. If a grown man had sent a little girl underwear in the mail, we would not be doing this. It was a gray area at the time nonsense. We would be calling him what he is. Exactly. Like, if you watch this live video of Colleen Ballinger. Can you imagine if that was a guy? And actually, there was a guy in the room when this happened, and he was the one wearing it. It's both disgusting. It honestly makes me cringe. It makes me feel ill with the way she's giggling, scrolling through this 13-year-old stage, wanting to send him underwear. And she knew he was young. You can't even say, oh, well, maybe she didn't know how young he was. No, she knew he was young because she literally says in this video, and what are his parents gonna think? They knew. Like, honestly, call me crazy, but I feel like this is jail worthy. Like, just lock him up. What the F is wrong with y'all for platforming someone who is still to this day claiming that her victims are lying? Asking if she forgives herself before she even properly apologized to her victims is crazy work. I love all the people in these comments, by the way. I would just like to say that. Also, this person saying an underage man, he was a child. Just wow at the word choices. Her word choices are a direct reflection of the way that she views people in her head. She clearly doesn't view children as children, or she wouldn't be doing this. And you know who also doesn't? Pedophiles. Keep in mind, she was already a mom when she was messaging inappropriate things to minors in group chats. Let that sink in. A 30-year-old woman in chats with minors. Like, seriously. Like, she would hang out in a group chat that she started full of kids and talk about her sex life in it, knowing that it was kids she was talking to.
Something else, Colleen, that has come up and been discussed is the fact that you would participate in group chats with your fans, and there were minors in those chats, and there would be questions regarding their virginity and sex positions. Right. Inappropriate questions are being asked to underage people. What was going on?
That's true. It's completely inappropriate. And I used to do this weekly question and answer thing with my audience. And that particular group chat was full of a bunch of different fans of all ages, but they were crass and funny and ridiculous. And they would, whenever I asked for questions for my channel, they would ask me questions like that. They would ask me questions they knew I wouldn't answer that were over the top, inappropriate. So when one of them, which this part of the conversation is now deleted, those parts of the conversations are deleted or gone or somehow, I don't know. But when they asked for questions for theirs, I was trying to do the same jokes that they had just previously been doing with me. Stupid and inappropriate. Shouldn't have done it. I feel really embarrassed and stupid. And
did you know they were underage at the time?
I knew that there were teenagers in the chat. Yeah, I did know that. And I also thought, well, they all know I'm not serious. I don't want the answers to these questions. They all know that I'm just joking around like they do this to me. They know I'm not going to answer the questions. I know they don't want to answer. You know, like, I thought like this was, it was clear between all of us that like I was joking. I didn't actually want this information from this person. I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny to ask a really absurd, crazy question. And there were a bunch of questions I asked. Those were just a few of the awful ones that I did. And I should have never done that. That was crazy of me.
It wasn't in a grooming fashion.
Absolutely not. It was in a stupid fashion. It was like I shouldn't.
For the laugh?
For the laugh. I thought it would make them laugh. I thought they'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. Ha ha ha. Like how they did with me. They were very funny. That group chat of all these different guys. They're very funny, very dedicated, wonderful people.
So you were being one of the kids.
Yeah, right.
And you had forgotten.
Yeah,
so
right.
you were acting more like one of your kid viewers versus remembering that you were actually the adult in the chat.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that lends itself to the power dynamic that you had referenced earlier. Right. You kind of had lost the awareness of that relationship dynamic.
There was no part of me that was wanting that information truly from them. I wasn't trying to get anything out of them. I was just trying to be like one of them, which is embarrassing to admit because that was not my responsibility at that time. I was trying to be silly like them and be their friend, when in reality I was the one who was supposed to be the responsible one. I was the adult there that should have never participated in that conversation and should have never joked with them about that kind of stuff. There's a power dynamic there, a parasocial relationship that I wasn't thinking about, which was irresponsible of me. Like I should have been thinking about that, and I should have removed myself from that chat immediately when they were joking about things that were inappropriate. I shouldn't have ever participated in those conversations. And it was rare that I was in there talking to them, but that is one of the moments where I did interact, and I wish that I hadn't.
This woman is a predator. That's what she is. That's what she is. She preyed on these children and their vulnerability. She invited Adam McIntyre out to dinner. Like, it's not appropriate. I really, really hope that Raven and Miranda come out and address this. And I want them to address it after they've done proper research, because there's probably some people that listen to this that maybe don't get on YouTube and haven't seen Adam McIntyre's video where he was reacting to this, which I'll have linked down below, by the way. If you haven't seen it, go watch his video. He spills fact from fiction in this. And so I think that's the only real way to watch this podcast episode, if you want to, is by watching it through his video. But I hope that they come back after doing actual research and fact-checking everything they got wrong and holding her truly accountable in a follow-up video for the people that may not know, because this was just a crock of shit and she is an awful person. She's absolutely disgusting, and I'm curious what you all have to say about this. You're gonna have to leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think, and I will see you soon for another video.